continuing the lecture on task number 8. So what we're talking about is the NIC knowledge exam, the NIC, which is the NIC written test, and where I stopped on the last video was task number 8. So I'm going to actually start off with task number 8, which is one of 10 tasks on RID's written exam that you're going to be tested on. Okay, so task number 8 says construct an equivalent discourse in the target language while monitoring message comprehension and feedback to modify your interpretation accordingly. Where I started to talk about is one of the skills that you need to understand is how to construct an equivalent message intent. So the example I was giving, that I will give again, is sometimes when you instant message somebody or you're chatting in a chat room and maybe that person that you're talking to thinks they're being funny and they send you a little message and you misunderstand the intent and you think they're being mean when they thought they were being funny. And then you know how your feelings can get hurt and such. So as interpreters, we need to understand the intent of the message from who it's coming. So if a deaf person is signing something and they intend it to be blatant and offensive, they certainly can deliver that message that way, and so will you as the interpreter. You must deliver the intent with which the message is being sent. So if they're signing it, you're going to voice it the same way. If it's being voiced, you're going to sign it back with the same intent. Some of how we do that is we listen for tone of voice, or we watch the body language and the facial expressions to make sure that we're completely understanding not just the words we hear or see, but the intent with which it's being delivered, the message. Okay? So you're also going to be you need to understand how to minimize miscues, how to minimize deletions or substitutions. You certainly want to know how to minimize distracting mannerisms or fillers. We know what fillers are when we're speaking, right? Such as okay, those kinds of things. Alright, so task number 8, what you're going to be tested on the knowledge test is being able to construct equivalent discourse in the target language while monitoring message comprehension and feedback to modify your interpretation accordingly. Okay? You want to be able to, if we're going from English to sign, listen, understand the words, understand the meaning, understand the tone of voice, understand the goal of the speaker, and all of those things help you determine how the message should be appropriately delivered. Now, task number 9 is divided into into subsections. So task 9A is being able to use ASL proficiently within expressive interpreting tasks, including choice of sign vocabulary, use of sign modification to show variation in meaning and grammatical function, and appropriate use of space, facial expressions, and body movement. So some of the things you need to have knowledge of are phonemic structure, morphological structure, such as semantics, syntax, functional pragmatics. They give an example of how settings alter the pragmatic function and form of the discourse, the volume of the lexicon, the role and function of fingerspelling. So again, we're working from English to sign language, essentially, or voice to sign, and they want to see that you understand how to use ASL proficiently with your expressive interpreting tasks. All right. So all of those parts are not only skills that you need to be able to produce, but it's knowledge that you need to be able to demonstrate that you understand. Not just produce it on your hand, but that you understand it and could explain things. So some of the skills related to 9A is sign articulation, fingerspelling and numerical incorporation, using discourse boundaries, recognizing sentence boundaries, inflection and intonation, selecting sign vocabulary precisely. Alright, that's 9A. 9B is comprehend ASL proficiently during the interpreting task, including sign vocabulary, choice and sign modification to show variation in meaning and grammatical function. Again, knowledge of phonemes and morphemes. Expanding the volume of your lexicon. Comprehending the register. Some interpreters actually misunderstand and they think that all deaf people sign in the same register, and they don't. So you need to be able to recognize that and understand it and answer questions on a knowledge test related to it. There's a whole list of other things that I'll let you look up when you download this from R&D's website. Task number 10 is also broken down. Task 10A, using English proficiently to construct an equivalent message in the target language, including appropriate vocabulary choice, tone, grammar, and syntax with appropriate use of register, pausing, rhythm, intonation, pitch, and other suprasegmental features. So they're going to ask you questions based on knowledge of several categories: phonemic structure, morphological structure, etc. You'll have skills in expanding the volume of the lexicon, using appropriate register, using inflective intonation, applying sentence boundaries. Okay, so this is using English proficiently to construct the message. 10B, comprehend English proficiently to construct an equivalent message in the target language, including appropriate vocabulary, choice, tone, grammar, syntax, appropriate use of register, pausing, rhythm, intonation, pitch, and other suprasegmental features. So again, those similar categories that were in 9B would also be in 10B. So related to ASL, Section 9 was related to your production and understanding of sign language. Section 10 is your production and understanding of your voicing language, which we'll say is English. Alright? So that's a little bit of information regarding the NIC Knowledge Exam, which is the written test. Yes, you may take the written test without having a degree. So as soon as you feel like you're ready to take the knowledge exam, go ahead and take it. What you do is you set a 5-year time limit, because you have 5 years from the date you pass the knowledge exam, so you need to have taken and passed the NIC test at one of the levels. Okay? You do need to make sure you remember that there is a degree requirement starting in July of 2009. You cannot take the performance test without an associate's degree starting July of 2009. In July of 2012, you must then have a bachelor's degree. So even though you take the written test and you don't need a degree, you cannot take the performance test without having the appropriate degree based on the date that you're taking the test. Alright? So that's some brief information about the knowledge exam. Once again, I'll say it one final time. Go on R&D's website and look for this information. It is there. It's available to you even as a non-member. And make sure that you read it and understand it, because there may be questions related to this information on future tests. And it's not all based on my conversation with you, because I have told you it's important to get this information